How's what sort of question is this? Obviously, everyone is puzzled. This could be one of the options that people might be saying, or people might be saying, see, that is not the part of our life, and we have learned how to sail through it. So, that could be one of the things that actually is happening, and we are pretty much sure that how we can do what we are supposed to do. So, I am Tiwari. Welcome you to this topic today, and I represent Safe Express training team. When I talk about Safe Express, I feel really proud to be associated with India's one of the leading logistics and supply chain management company. It is not only the leading organization, but it is one of the most reputed organization as well, because the core that we work around is customer centricity. We always focus on prioritizing our customers' need, ensuring that yes, whatever we do for our customers should be in the best efforts. And that is why we always say customer first. So when we work on those parameters, it always ensures that yes, we are dealing from our side whatever best we can do. And this particular session that I'm conducting is in coordination with the Safejob, Safe Educate, which is again the one of the organization under the umbrella of Safe Express Group. So I would recommend the way Safe Express Private Limited is the leading name in logistics and supply chain, the same way Safejob is doing excellent work with respect to training and development across different domains and specialized in LSCM. So anyone who is aspiring to learn something new, upgrade their knowledge skills, they can go to the website www.safejob.in and they can inquire few courses which can help them boost their knowledge and skills. So those are wonderful programs. I would recommend, please go and explore, find something. So explore, learn and grow through the help of dedicated team that we have at the same job as well. So now coming back to the topic today, when I talk about this topic, I would like to talk on different aspect as like what is this resilient mindset, or how exactly we can build resilient mindset, why exactly is there a need to build resilient mindset. So there are different aspects to this topic, and I would try to cover certain aspects in the best efforts within the constraint of the time that we do have. So I'll move further and I'll say, how many of you have hit gym and at any moment of your time like life, or you are regular to your gyms like that? Maybe in this corona crisis gyms are being closed because of the government's rules and regulations, keep ensuring that yes, everyone is safe at their places. So otherwise, how many of you would have been hitting gyms? If in case you were a regular to gym, you can put a comment here as in like you went to gym or you used to go to gym. Now coming to an important question, when we start going to gym, were were there like a situation, was we in a situation wherein our muscles got a strain? जब हमने जिम जाना शुरू किया, क्या उस शुरुआत के कुछ दिनों में ऐसा आपके साथ हुआ था जब आपकी मसल्स में ज्यादा स्ट्रेन आ रहा था, यू आर फीलिंग लिटिल एक्स्ट्रा टायर्ड आफ्टर हिटिंग जिम? आपको कहते हैं कुछ स्प्रेन सा फील होता था शुरुआत में? And for how long it was? For 5 days, 10 days, or how many days? Does it continue for a long time? If you have been going to gym for more than 3 months or 6 months or maybe a year or so, is it continuing till now? Until unless you're not experimenting something new, until unless you're not trying something new exercises, or you are pulling something like, let's say, some pushing, doing some exercises wherein you're taking irons and other stuff, stick or running or doing some exercises or opening up your muscles and all that. Okay? So whenever you do as a new thing in that particular phase, yes, you would have a little strain. You will have a strain at your body side, muscles and all that. But does it happen regularly? Answer is no. Because once we are used to it, it goes. Or the kind of effect that it has does not last, or it is not going to bother us. Same is with the muscles of our mind. Our mind is no different than the other part of the body. The only difference is either we do not know our mind or we do not want to know our mind. We can also train our mind to become more strong day by day with these situations and the incidents that keep on happening to us, because there's a wise saying and it says life is all about 10% that happens to you and 90% how you react to it. So still have a control over 90% things that you react, you respond to those situations, and how you behave under those circumstances actually defines what you are and how extremely wonderful person you can be or a broken person you can be. So it majorly depends on us, though situations sometimes have a big toll on us. They sometimes have a very positive or negative effect. But yes, it is majorly on us how do we respond to those situations or whether we are reacting to it. So we say resilience is like a muscle. Flex it enough, and it will take less efforts to get over the emotional punches each and every time that it come across. And this is a famous quote by Alice Moore. So moving further, I would say emotional resilience, or I would say the resilient mindset, is nothing but ensuring that you have got an attitude to win the battle. But you need to understand that every battle won't be won, because you might be losing some or the other, but do you have the capability to bounce back? That is actually the defining moment, and that is actually an important aspect that we need to actually work upon, so as to ensure that yes, what we do is actually helping us evolve, grow, and become a better person every day by day. So, moving further, actually, this word resilience is a Latin word. This actually I would say, originate from a Latin origin, and it says the word is the resilio, which means to bounce back or to retaliate. So, what actually happens in our life is we come across different situations. Okay, life keeps on throwing different situations and scenarios. It's just like when life gives you lemon, what do you do with it? Do you make lemonade, or you start crying that you got the lemons? So few people, when they come across the stones, they build a wall to block themselves, and few people use those stones to build a bridge to connect with great and wonderful opportunities, to connect with beautiful people across the platforms, and then they learn, they evolve, they grow like anything. So I would say life will not be like the same every day. It can't be good all the time. It can't be bad all the time. So every day we experience one thing or the other. Every day we experience one thing or the other. Now, our experience can be of various kinds. It can be happy, it can be unhappy, it can be good, it can be bad, it could be positive, it could be negative, it can be of any kind. So we have the various sort of emotions that we get into, we react to situations, and then we experience different emotions. Now, my question to you all is, how many of you want unhappy experiences? How many of you want sad experiences? How many of you want negative experiences? If you want any of them, please comment here, and I'm sure there won't be any comment, because none of us want these sort of experiences. All we want is life to be happy, life to be full of positive experiences, life to be smooth, experience that should be like wow. But do we have a control over our life? That's an important question. Do we have control over anything and everything that actually happens to us? That is where exactly we need to understand that in our life we have three situations. There are things, there are events that we can control. There are things, situations, events, people, actions, behavior which we cannot control. And then there are things, people, situations, events are, or I would say actions and behavior, which we can influence. So we need to understand what is not in control and what actually cannot come in control if we are still focusing on those areas and putting our time beyond a limit. It is more of wasting time and getting emotionally hurt at that time. So better is move on to those areas which you can control and which you can influence. So influence is something which is not actually in your control, but when you change your actions or behavior, you somehow get a control over those events or people or the outcomes and all that. So we need to change ourselves. And one of the recent example is COVID-19, the corona crisis. So we all have been chasing for degrees, certificates, and all the knowledge on the paper as a written thing. Okay, I got these things listed as credentials to at my side. But during corona we've realized that lot many people with huge number of I would say degrees and all that they have, they found it tough to survive with respect to the job and so many things. But people who were good at the skills, who were flexible enough to change themselves quickly, they were sailing through it. One of the sessions which was conducted by Mr. Amit Kumar, who happens to be the head for retail sales at Safe Express, was a wonderful session. And in that particular session, he talked about different aspects of the retail and how exactly it is emerging and all that in today's context, especially the MSME, wherein he talked about. And he actually talked and he said there are number of people who have changed so quickly in this turbulent time that they evolved like anything. And we all know we were nowhere in the list of making and preparing this PPE kits and all that. And today we are on the second number. How exactly it happened? Because we actually realized this is the need of the hour and we took actions to those situations and we made the best out of it. Now we are realizing there are situations going on, and what we are doing is we are putting our efforts. So we are shifting and we are putting our best efforts to make sure that yes, what our honorable Prime Minister Mr. Modi has called for Atmanirbhar Bharat, we all are trying to put our efforts. And I am very proud to say that Safe Express is one of those company which is not only an Indian company, but it actually is part of those backbones or the essential services which is very much required. Because in this Corona crisis, if we still got our I would say items, edibles, and so many other things, necessary items and all that, how exactly it happened? Because there were few shops which were open, there were few delivery uh, mechanism which were working, and it all actually happened because the LSCM, the supply chain was working. So supply chain is the backbone, and that is why exactly when I talk about Safe Express, I always feel proud that I'm working in a company wherein we work for the essential things and so many other things. Now coming back to the core, to the topic once again, when actually you were demanding products and all that, it was actually working. So there were thousands and lakhs of people who were hiding themselves inside their home because of fear. There were crores of people who were inside the home because they wanted to ensure that they are safe, because that was the need of the hour. It was not only that Mr. Modi has asked to do so, but it was a wise decision to ensure that yes, we all stay safe at our home. So we did that. But was it happening with everyone just because of the need of the hour, the situation to ensure that we are safe, or it was because of the fear also? Because we have so many people who didn't step out because of the fear, and there were people who were working tirelessly in this situation, in this I would say turbulent time, in this when we were encountering the pandemic corona and all that people were putting. So salute to all those people. What actually is the difference between these two set of people is these one set of people is the resilient people. They come across situations, they also have a different state of mind. They also fear something, but very quickly they adopt to situations. They make their mind understand, come on, we don't need to worry about this for such a long time, because everything got some or the other solutions, maybe so quickly, or maybe it may take some time. So let's focus on the solution rather than the problem. And that is why exactly we say that there are few people who are so expert that whatever solution you give to them for any problem that they come across, they will have another problem with the solution that you propose. And there are people who focus on the solution. So ask yourself where exactly you lie. On the problem, you're focusing on the problem, or you're focusing on the solution. So people who focus on the solution, they try to build themselves more resilient day by day. So how do you build this? Like, you start working, you start training your mind to be more open, to be more optimistic, to have hope. Because when you're traveling in a train and train enters a tunnel, you ask, okay, is this a tunnel? Because everything is still now black, there is no light here and there except the electricity which is running inside the train. So you might have some bulbs or tube light or something which may be functioning. Otherwise, there is no light. But still you have an hope, because the train will come out of the tunnel as well. So situation keeps on coming to us like this. We need to have hope that we'll sail through it. Anything that comes, we need to have a hope, we need to have a belief, we need to have a trust that yes, this will also pass and we will survive. And that is why we say there is a concept in biology. Darwin talked about survival of the fittest. So who is like the fittest? Fittest are not only those who are physically fit. These are people who are physically fit, who are emotionally fit, who are fit on different aspects. So we need to brush up ourselves. We need to make ourselves strong day by day on number of areas so that we can cope with the situations. Very recently we came across the situation, I would say one of the very bad thing that actually happened, and I believe most of us were very sad, is like we lost one of the celebrity, Sushant Singh Rajput. So we need to understand, though I generally don't quote such examples, but I'm trying to help you all understand that when situation like this happens, why we, like most of us were probably into grief or too much sad with this happening, because we were able to correlate with this guy so much, because he comes from a normal background. He was a common man who has done extremely well in almost all the areas that he has worked, and with all the efforts and all the struggles that he has come across, and all the possible best effort that he has put into those situations, he came as the winner. He did extremely well in a couple of movies, and we were all hopeful that he'll be the star of the tomorrow. Though he was a star, but we expected, we believed, we dreamed that he'll be a superstar of tomorrow. And when actually we lost him, we all were very, very sad, or we were probably into grief mode. So anything that actually happens, any kind of situation that actually happens, not only this Sushant Singh Rajput or anything. So whenever it actually happens, and we are so sad, we are emotionally hurt, or we are into grief, so that actually goes through a stages of 5 steps, which was proposed by Kubler-Ross. So there is a model which says Kubler-Ross model, wherein we talked about the 5 stages of grief. When we talk about the first step called as a denial. So when something bad actually happens, something really all of a sudden very odd situation or even actually happens with us, we are not actually accepting it. We are in the denial mode. We do not want to accept that this can happen. So it was a very good forward few months back, and one of my senior, my I would say my boss over here, Shweta ji, showed up very wonderful message, and it talked about it like we all actually didn't wanted to accept the fact that corona can also happen in India. It can affect people in India. When it started in China, we all were initially denying, oh come on, it cannot happen over here, it cannot affect the people in India. Or we were saying, even if it actually happens, even if it happens, we are so strong, there is a weather change, there is so many things that it won't have an impact or effect for a long time. Now when actually it's hit in India, when people were really suffering, when so many people lost their life, or they were into hospitals and they were experiencing very bad, I would say, situations and all that. So we were pretty much angry on different and so many, I would say, uh, people, society, bureaucracy, government, and all that, and even on the God as well. That we worship you so much, and you're making this happen to us. So we were so angry. We were not accepting that yes, it actually happened. And then slowly and gradually, we started to bargain. Okay, come on, if this is happening, what can be done? What should be done and all that. So we were probably into a kind of a bargaining mode. So we were trying to struggle to find a meaning. We were trying to reach out to others. We were trying to tell our story, where we were trying to be more into the victim side. We were trying to talk about am I suffering and what is like the situation going across. And there is basically there happens two things. Either we get into the mode of depression. We are so sad, we are so hit that we do not overcome those problems, and we get into a depression. And we came across that yes, doctors, psychologists, and they were talking about that yes, in this time, good number of people have gone through or they were impacted by depression, and there were people who accepted this fact. And this is how basically we realized that there was a lockdown stage one, two, three. Then there was a lockdown. There was unlock one, and now we are going through an unlock two. So what actually is happening isn't that the corona is hitting now. Corona is hitting, but there can be two ways to look into the situation. That one is, oh my God, we got more than 6 lakh cases of corona, or we can say, oh, because the testing have been increased, we've been testing in our best possible ways. We've been exploring people. We've been finding people from different areas in our best possible ways to see if in case they are impacted, and we are testing them so as to get the real statistics. And that is why exactly the numbers are relatively high. All the efforts are being put by the medical fraternity, government, bureaucracy, bureaucrats, and all that to ensure that yes, people recover. And that is why exactly we are able to see we got one of the best recovery rate across the globe. And now the active cases are relatively very less with respect to the numbers. So we have close to 60 or something like that percentage of recovery. So can we see into that now the number of deaths are relatively more controlled, or we are able to sustain people for a long time. We are getting so many different things. So there could be ways to see the things. One person sees half glass, about glass of water which is only half filled, as just half filled, or few people say it's a half empty, or some there would be few who would say it's completely full, half with the water and half with the air. So how exactly you see actually helps you define how events will impact you. So we need to actually understand that there are certain ways through which we can probably control ourselves, or probably change the kind of impact that actually happens. So how much we are able to motivate ourselves in different situations, that needs to be worked upon. And when we are able to motivate ourselves, we survive to all those situations. So building resilience is about training yourself, strengthening yourself to be able to cope up with the events which are not favorable, the negative, or the bad, or the unhappy, or the all of a sudden negative things that actually happens to us. How quick we are to cope up with them, how good we are to understand that yes, it can happen not only to me but to anyone. And that's a part of the life. Because if I ask you to list down 10 favorite people of yours from different areas, let's say they can be from the sports to politics to spiritual leaders to businessman to anyone, even in your family, if I ask you to list down 10 people, I am very much sure that more than 6 to 8 people in that particular list would be those who have survived, who have overcome challenges beautifully. Those are not those people who have never gone through challenges, or those who have never got any challenges. It's about how strong you are to face those situations. And when I talk about this, I I would say draw inspiration from so many people around, living or dead, because When I see their work, their lifestyle, their behavior, their responses to the situation, I try to learn from them as in like how they made themselves so strong to cope up from the situation that actually happened. And one of the best example that I would like to quote over here is Arunima Sinha. So, if you want to know more about, first of all, I believe most of us would be knowing her. If in case you do not know, please use your mobile phone or laptop, go to the Google and type Arunima Sinha, and then you'll get more details because we are running out of time. So I'll not go through the details, but I'll say she's one of the best example where you'll also feel happy. Oh wow, yeah, come on, this lady can do such an excellent thing in her life, we all can at least do something or the other. She is one of those people who have skilled up to the she has climbed the Mount Everest even after losing her leg in an accident, which was very unfortunate that actually happened to her. So when people were trying to tell her that you can't do anything because you've been this person from the sport, so you'll get some sports quota and you might get some or the other kind of benefits, so you can at least get a life moving. She refused all those mediocrity and she said that, come on, I need to do something excellent. And she said that what people cannot do with their legs, I'll do without it. And she made it through it. So we can draw inspiration, motivation from people around us. And I'm sure even we ourselves are the source of inspiration. I would urge you to list down 10 incidences of your life, different phases of life wherein you were hit badly because of one or the other situations and you coped up. But the important catch is how quickly you did it and how with the, I would say the, how much you were actually engrossed and engaged and participating in the course of the events of the life to accept that yes, it can happen. And then you actually made a deal with it that yes, I'll do that. So always remember, there are people who once were hit, they couldn't rise, and people who were hit again and again and they refused to fall and they rose like phoenix. So when I say this, I believe everyone who is watching this video is a superstar because we all are Almighty's very special child, and God has created us with utmost sincerity and love. So we all have the capability to rise above all the troubles and challenges that come to us in any or every formats. But if we are strong, if we have a belief that we can do that, we certainly can do that. So quickly summing up to the points, I would say we need to ensure that we keep on motivating ourselves regularly to build ourselves more resilient. And that is where exactly we need to understand that it requires efforts. Once we put in effort, there is a performance going on. So our efforts bring the performance and performance actually brings the outcome. So we need to see how good was the outcome may not be actually be controlled lot many times, but performance can be. And before performance is the effort, so how much willing we are to put in our best efforts, that is where exactly is the maximum control. Performance, we need to see whether it is an individual thing or it is a team thing, though it can be highly influenced. If we figure it out, the all the aspects, we can certainly influence it and we would get the best or the best outcomes. So moving further, I would say the second thing is the factors which we need to consider while we are building the resilience are recognition. So whenever we put in efforts, those would be recognized maybe sooner or later. People who are above to us, who are higher to us in the hierarchy, or those to whom we are reporting or we are working with, they would recognize our efforts. It cannot be like we are putting efforts and it is going into a deep blind well. So we won't get any recognition. It would. Now, whenever you are recognized, you feel a sense of achievement. Yes, I did something, and it actually motivates us. That's a very good. We see that there are opportunities for growth and promotions for us in life, and we always, there is a very famous quote here, I would say, which is from one of my favorite movie. Spider-Man, it says, with great power comes great responsibility. So once people recognize your efforts, they give you a sense of achievement. You're being provided with opportunities to grow and get promoted. You need to understand, you are again, you're not only getting all these luxuries, but you're also going to get some responsibilities. So do the justice to them, do justice to those responsibilities, and make sure that whatever work you do should be meaningful. It should bring some meaning out of it, maybe not very quickly, but yes, the overall impact has to be a positive one, to you, to the people who are working, and to the people who are going to be at the receiving side. And we need to understand that yes, our behavioral cycle is one of the very important aspect over here. And I would say, as in, like, whenever there is an emotional trigger, so we tend to react or respond to those situations. So smart people tend to be more responsive rather than reactive. You can always test this just like that. You can take a ball, go and throw it to a wall, and see, it will come back bouncing to you. You hit it hard, you throw it hard, you throw it quick, fast, it will come back very soon. Probably you may be hit, you may be hurt. And if there is a person on the other side, if you're throwing, and if that person is your dear one, if you throw it like badly, if you throw it hard, if you throw it very fast, do you think that the person will throw it fast to you so that you also get hurt if he or she was hurt? Most likely, no. He would say, come on, अपने भाई को मारेगा क्या? So understand, we are not wall, we are like human beings, so we should not be reactive, we should be more responsive. And responsive people are those who understand that there are few things which are happening which may not be in our control, but at least what I react and respond is in my control. And when I know what I'm gonna do will have consequences, I tend to control it, I tend to make it better. And that is basically, instead of reacting, I we respond. So that is what we need to understand. Yes, always remember that thinking is good, but overthinking kills. So don't overthink about any problem beyond a limit, because by overthinking you're not going to get the solution. Okay? Start thinking not only about the problem, but along with the problem, think about these possible solutions and the kind of impact those solutions will have, so that you analyze what needs to be done and how exactly it could be done. So don't only just think, go and act. And that is why there is a saying, it says, an idea can, if there's a saying, an idea can change the world. So there is another saying, ideas are no one's monopoly. So don't only think and create ideas, go and act upon them, because action actually brings the change. And we all want a positive change in ourselves, in the situation that is around us. So do that. And when you try, ensure that you're persistent about it, because there would be situations wherein you're putting efforts but you're not getting the desired result. So sometimes it actually happens that we are putting efforts, but the 80% of the result comes in the last 20 shots that we play. So always have faith, always have patience, and be persistent when you put in. And remember, all this actually can be beautifully done if we are self-aware, if we know ourselves, if we know who we are and why we behave the way we behave. We can possibly change the way we behave or react under situations that are not favorable to us. So do that, be more emotionally aware, and build high level of self confidence. So when you do that, it will actually help you grow in your life. Always remember, if you change your physiology, you change your psychology. And if you change your psychology, you change your physiology. This is something which was taught to me by one of my mentor when I was attending an NLP program. So I would like to say thanks to him, that he actually helped me a lot. And we all can learn from people around. And today, in today's time, when we have Google, we have YouTube and so many other services, I would say facilities, we can learn a lot, provided we are interested to learn. And that is basically, we need to understand that yes, we can change ourselves, provided we actually want. So go ahead, upgrade yourself, build better interpersonal relationships so that you do what actually is required and it can actually help you to do so. So try to apply the cognitive I would say cognitive behavioral therapy over here, wherein you need to understand the first thing that is called as the cognition, the way we think, the second part, the perception, the way we analyze and evaluate things, because most of the problem happens in this stage. And then the third is called the actions, means either we react or respond. So ensure that yes, first, change or improve your cognition part, the way we think. Second is do not be into assumption mode. Perceive things the way they are. Do not be biased over here. Get the clarity. Do not assume things from your biased positions and make or give your best efforts. This is something which I learned when I was doing my, I would say, transactional analysis and cognitive behavioral therapy program by Dr. Chinu Agrawal. So she taught me a lot over here. And I say that yes, if today I have become a relatively better person, a relatively more strong person, more resilient person, it is actually because of so many people who have taught me things and concepts, whether as a part of academia or real life things, or my bosses or my colleagues and my family members. So I owe gratitude, and when I am expressing gratitude, I'm actually trying to make a hint to you that people who are emotionally strong, people who are resilient, they have one of this very beautiful habit of expressing gratitude. When you express gratitude, you always feel that yes, there is a huge scope of learning from people around you, and you are more into the learning mode. So here I would like to conclude and say thank you so much to everyone who was watching this program or who would watch this program as per their convenience. My best wishes to everyone, and I believe that yes, we all will try our best to be more and more strong, become more resilient in the situations which are very, I would say, spontaneous, which are very sudden, that actually happens. We need to understand that this is everything we cannot control, but yes, to a lot extent we can influence if we are more proactive and responsive in our life. So happy learning, grow in your life, enjoy. Thank you so much.